Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Josh, and in today's video, I'm going to be comparing the Citi Custom Cash credit card to the Chase Freedom Flex credit card. So I'll be going over the main features of both these cards, their pros as well as their drawbacks. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a much better idea of which credit card would be the best fit for you. But before we go ahead and dive into the main features of both of these cards, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stock, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then simply link your bank account. You do not even have to make an opening deposit. At that point in time, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. Okay, so diving right into the main features of both of these credit cards. First off, we're going to be discussing cashback and how you can earn it with both of these cards. So we're going to be starting out with discussing the Chase Freedom Flex credit card. So starting out with that one, you will be receiving 5% cashback on the Chase travel portal. Furthermore, you'll also be earning 5% cashback on Lyft rides, 3% cashback on dining in or takeout, 3% cashback at drugstores. You're also going to be receiving 5% cashback on rotating categories, which are going to change each quarter on the first $1,500 you spend each quarter. Then after the first $1,500, after that, you are going to be receiving 1% cash back. So just as an example of what these rotating categories could potentially look like on a quarter-to-quarter basis, earlier on this year, January through March, the categories were grocery stores, fitness and gym memberships, and self-care and spa services. Then in April through June, the category was Amazon.com, hotels, and restaurants. And then on all other transactions, of course, you will be receiving 1% cash back. Then as far as the Citi Custom Cash credit card goes, you are automatically going to be earning 5% in cash back each statement cycle in your top spending category. And then every other spending category that you spend in, you're going to be receiving 1% cash back. Now, as far as the eligible categories go, they go as followed. The eligible categories that you can earn 5% cash back in are going to be at restaurants, gas stations, grocery stores, select travel, select transit, select streaming services, drugstores, home improvement stores, fitness clubs, and live entertainment. Also, you can earn an additional 4% in cash back on hotels, car rentals, and attractions if you book it through the Citi Travel Portal through June 30th of 2025. So that's how you can earn cash back with both these cards. You can also earn a spend bonus with both these cards as well. So with the Chase Freedom Flex credit card, you actually don't have a spend bonus where you would have to spend a certain amount within a certain time frame and earn like a $200 spend bonus. Instead, what they're doing is they're offering 5% cash back at grocery stores for the first 12 months on up to $12,000 in spend. So if you do max out the entire $12,000 within the first year, you are going to be earning $600 in cash back, which is pretty solid. As far as the Citi Custom Cash credit card goes, you can earn $200 spend bonus. However, with this one, you will have to spend $1,500 within the first 6 months to receive the spend bonus. That's going to work out to right around $250 per month. Now, another benefit that both these credit cards have is a 0% introductory APR on both purchases as well as balance transfers for the first 15 months. You're going to be receiving that with both the Chase Freedom Flex credit card as well as the Citi Custom Cash credit card. Now, with the Chase Freedom Flex credit card, you also have some pretty good perks with that one as well. So just to name a few here, you're going to be receiving cell phone protection. So you are going to be receiving up to $800 per claim and $1,000 per year in cell phone protection against cover theft or damage for phones listed on your monthly cell phone bill. When you pay for it with this card, there is going to be a max of 2 claims in a 12-month period though, with a $50 deductible per claim. You're also going to be receiving purchase protection as well. So this is going to cover your new purchases for 120 days against damage or theft up to $500 per claim and $50,000 per account. You're also going to be receiving extended warranty protection. So this is basically going to extend the time period of the manufacturer's US warranty by 1 additional year on eligible warranties of 3 years or less. And then you're also going to be receiving trip cancellation / interruption insurance as well. So with this, you can be reimbursed up to $1,500 per person and $6,000 per trip for your prepaid non-refundable passenger fares if your trip is canceled or cut short by sickness, severe weather, and other covered situations. So now that we went over the main features of both these credit cards, at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and dive into the APR and fees. But of course, this is also super important as well. So starting out with the Chase Freedom Flex credit card, once again, on both purchases and balance transfers, you are going to have a 0% introductory APR for the first 15 months. However, you will want to make sure that that balance is paid off in full if you are still carrying a balance on either your purchases or your balance transfer balance, because after the first 15 months are up, at that point in time, your APR is then going to shoot up to anywhere between 20.49 to 29.24% based on your credit worthiness. Then as far as cash advances go on this channel, we usually recommend to stay far away from cash advances. This, of course, should not be considered financial advice, just my own personal reasons. Usually with them, you have a very high interest rate, plus you pay a lot of fees as well. But if you do decide to take out a cash advance, just know that your APR on them is going to be a whopping 29.99% plus a lot of fees as well, which we are going to dive into in just a moment. So as far as the fees go on your cash advances, your fees are either going to be $10 or 5% of the amount of each cash advance, whichever happens to be greater. Then as far as balance transfers go, even though you will have that 0% introductory APR for the first 15 months, you do still have to pay a fee though. So as long as you get that introductory APR, your fee on the balance transfer is going to be either $5 or 3%, whichever happens to be greater. That once again, if you do it within 60 days, then after that, it's going to be bumped up to either $5 or 5% of the amount of each balance transfer, whichever happens to be greater. Then with this card, it's definitely one you'll probably want to leave back at home if you do happen to travel abroad, because there is going to be a foreign transaction fee with this credit card of 3%. There's also going to be a fee for any late or return payments. That fee is going to be up to $40. And then finally, as far as the annual fee goes, with this credit card, there is no annual fee, so it's definitely a keeper card. You don't have to consider every single year whether or not it's worth renewing, keeping, or maybe closing, because you do not have to pay an annual fee. So those are the APRs and fees with the Chase Freedom Flex credit card. Now, as far as the Citi Custom Cash credit card, once again, on your purchases and balance transfers, you are going to have a 0% introductory APR for the first 15 months. After that is up though, once again, you'll want to make sure that balance is paid off in full, because it will jump up at that point in time to anywhere between 19.24 to 29.24%. With this card, cash advances, your APR is going to be 29.99% plus some fees as well, which we're going to go into right now. So as far as the fees go on your cash advances, it's going to be $10 or 5% of the amount of each cash advance, whichever happens to be greater. Your balance transfer fee is going to be either $5 or 5% of the amount of each balance transfer, whichever happens to be greater. With this card, just like the Chase Freedom Flex card, there's also going to be a 3% foreign transaction fee, so it's probably a card you'll want to leave back at home if you do travel abroad. There's also going to be a late or return payment fee of up to $41. Now, with both these cards, if you happen to pay late for the first time, maybe even the second time, you could always try calling into Chase or Citi to see if they will waive the fee for like a one or two or second time convenience. It's not always guaranteed, but it's always worth calling in. Sometimes they will waive the fee if you are late for the first or maybe even second time. However, in the future, you'll definitely maybe want to consider setting up auto pay, marking your calendars, do whatever works best for you. And then finally, with this card, just like the Chase Freedom Flex credit card, there is also no annual fee either. So now that we went over the main features of both these cards, as well as the APR and fees, at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and dive into what I would consider to be the best things and the worst things of both credit cards. So as far as the best things of both of them, both these credit cards do not have an annual fee, so it's definitely an advantage. Both these cards also have a 0% introductory APR on your purchases as well as your balance transfers for the first 15 months. Now, as far as the drawbacks go, both these credit cards do have a 3% foreign transaction fee, so it's one you'll probably want to leave here at home if you do happen to travel abroad. And then they also earn 1% cash back in certain categories, so you have to be sort of careful about how you spend because you're going to be earning 5% cash back in some categories, 3% in others, 4% in others. So you'll definitely have to be a little bit more wary and a little more attentive of what you spend in. And then as far as how the Citi Custom Cash card wins versus the Chase Freedom Flex, the Citi Custom Cash wins because you're going to be earning 5% automatically in your top spending category. So you might want to look at a category each month that you spend the most in. For some, that might be groceries. For other people, that might be gas. For me, that's groceries, so I use this credit card primarily on groceries. And for a lot of families, it's going to be very easy to max out the $500 each statement cycle, and it's going to be $25 in cash back. Now, as far as how the Chase Freedom Flex credit card wins, how this one wins is you're actually going to have 3 different categories rotated quarterly where you're going to be earning 5% cash back, so a lot more opportunities there. Plus, you're also going to have the ability to earn 3% cash back on dining, 3% cash back on drugstore. So you actually have multiple categories where you can earn anywhere between 3 to 5% cash back, not to mention the 5% cash back on Lyft rides as well. So just to sum things up, it's really going to be completely up to you. If you spend, a lot like in groceries and you think you can max that out, then it might be best and easiest to have the Citi Custom Cash card for your 5% cash back category. And then maybe have another credit card where you're going to be earning 2% cash back across the board, like the Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card goes. For me, I actually have both of these credit cards, and the Chase Freedom Flex is really great because each quarter you're going to have those rotating categories, so you're going to have multiple opportunities to max out your 5% categories in both the Chase Freedom Flex as well as the Citi Custom Cash credit card. So at the end of the day, whichever of these cards wins is completely up to you. I actually have both of them. Once again, they both work very well for me. So I don't really give an advantage to either of them. It really is just completely up to you. But that's all we have for today's review. I certainly hope you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate it if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. And I will see you in the next video.